It's been a long 4 months, but our off season is finally over. Welcome back to the Section 17 podcast. As always, I'm your host, Brian Kennedy, alongside my co-host, Josh Cox, Scott Medlin, and Jamie Holt. He's back. We had to bring him on for the predictions episode, one Jordan Mann of the Big J and Little J podcast. We've got a great one for you tonight, as I stated. Probably one of our favorite episodes of the season, the predictions episode, where we give our thoughts as to who we think will lead the team in every category on the field, as well as some side bets. We've got a steak dinner on the line. But before we get to that, before we get to all the fun, boys, we're growing up. We're getting some more sponsors, big-time sponsors. First one I've got to mention, and he actually helped with the David Feely interview, one Matt Blivin. Matt's come on as a sponsor, and he's a realtor. Realtor Matt Blivin is a Durham native. He's a Duke fan and ready to tackle any question or opportunity with you. Matt's super knowledgeable on the current real estate market trends and has all your home needs covered. He's also, listen to this, folks, he's also giving away 4 tickets to every Duke home football game this season. Whether you're interested in buying, selling, investing, or building in the Triangle, give Matt a call at 919-323-0527 or email him at mlb@nestrealty.com. Experience that touchdown feeling right at home with Matt Blivin in every transaction. So again, Matt, we really want to thank you for coming on. But that's not all, Josh. Who else do we have coming on this year?
Yeah, shout out to Matt. And then we went big time and hooked it up with Home Field Apparel. And you probably have heard of Home Field Apparel if you're a listener to this podcast. If you're a sports fan, they lead the way in vintage gear. In fact, Brian is currently rocking a Home Field Apparel Duke shirt. They just dropped some premium boxes for football season. We have a little bit of insider info here. By the end of August, they're going to be dropping what they're calling coach's jacket. We've not seen it yet, but Duke is on the list. So there's going to be a coach's jacket dropping. And here's the cool thing. You guys can go to homefieldapparel.com and enter the code Section 17, and you'll get 15% off your first order. And so save a little bit of money, and then go to Home Field Apparel, get all your Duke gear. And if you're like me, I've got my brother-in-laws, my father-in-law, Florida fan, Ohio State fans. I go get their Christmas presents. I get birthday presents from Home Field. So go to homefieldapparel.com and don't forget to use the code Section 17.
We've got a couple more sponsors that we're going to mention later on in this episode. But fellas, we got to catch up. As I stated earlier, it has been 4 months since we were on here last. We discussed all things spring ball. Guys, you, of course, went down to Charlotte for Media Day, had a good time. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there due to some unforeseen circumstances, but I had my video with David Feely drop last week. We've got another video dropping next week. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Brian, you're gonna tell them what it is, man? Should we? We haven't discussed this, but should we let the cat out of the bag on the pod?
We filmed a teaser on Friday, so let's hold off.
All
Tyler
right.
was doing a teaser. All I will say is,
release.
Yes, Christmas came in August or July when we filmed it. That's all I will say. So if you know me, I think you know exactly what I'm talking about. But let's just catch up really quick before we get into the meat and potatoes of this episode. Just where are you guys at as we are 2.5 weeks away from kickoff against Elon? How have you been? Where's your head at as we enter the 2024 season in the first game of the Manny Diaz era? Who wants to kick us off? Anyone? We're already in midseason.
Right, I'll go ahead.
There you go, Scott.
Well, not a lot has changed. Counting down the minutes till we kick off football for good. Enjoyed every last bit of the preseason games that have been on TV. Been dreaming, wishing for football to get here. Glad it's back. Cannot wait till we get to the first weekend, week 0, to see a little bit of college football live. Hey, if it's from Dublin or wherever it's from, it doesn't matter to me as long as it's football.
Everyone knows I've been up to the same old thing. I mean, if you follow my social media, I'm at the beach like all the time. I'm actually in Raleigh tonight, but my family left me and went to the beach, so I had to stay back and work for the Mann.
Is this one of your 2 days every 3
Yes.
months you have to work?
Yeah, that's
Tomorrow?
tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
And but yeah, I'm looking forward to football season, like Scott said. I guess 2 weeks from Friday. So, and we got college football kicking off, and it's exciting time to see what Manny Diaz has cooked up. Also, the Carolina Panthers suck. Thought I'd throw that in there.
Jordan, what about you? You've been on before. Of course, you've got your own podcast. Your episode either already released or is releasing tomorrow as well. Just fill us in a little bit about that and what you've been up to.
Yeah, we finished recording today. It ended up being about 3 hours, so we're going part 1, part 2. We did an hour and a half last night, hour and a half today, basically, of depth chart. We'll be releasing tomorrow, and then 2 days from now, I'm trying to stack it. So you guys will release this tomorrow or whatever, and then I'll release mine Thursday. And so I'm doing Big J and Little J show, yeah, and I just want to say it's an honor to be back. I love coming on with you guys. You guys are my Duke family, and I appreciate you guys giving me this platform in all seriousness to it's really helped my podcast grow. We're going into season 3, and honestly, couldn't do it without you guys. I love coming to Duke games when I can, sit with the boys, and I love talking to your fans. We're talking about, hey, we liked having you on previous episodes. So tip the cap to you guys. Love you guys. Thank you for having me, and I can't wait to talk some Duke football.
Are you ready to sit in scaffolding with us in Section 17?
I'm down. All you can eat and all you can drink, non-alcoholic. I don't care. I can. Duke, don't listen to this, but maybe some airplane bottle in my sock or something. But
Exactly.
No, they're going to pat you down. They're going to have the metal detectors.
It's like, yes, sir, this is Sprite. I promise you, this is Sprite. But no, man. And Jordan also, Jordan does great work with the Big J Little J show, but he's also in the works really of kind of a slow launch of Man to Man, which is a little bit more of a personal podcast, right? You want to share a little bit about that, man? We're all about getting that content, man.
Yeah, Man to Man. I only have 2 episodes right now, but the first one was with my coaching mentor, Wells Gullidge. Won 3 state championships at Kinston. Coach Brandon Ingram and Reggie Bullock. Really close friends with Reggie. Goes to his island. Reggie has an island. He talks about that on the podcast on my YouTube. And second was Tyler Lewis. People know if you're basketball. Played at NC State. Played at Butler. Coached at Elon. Runs Phenom Hoops in North Carolina. Talked with him. And then my 3rd episode will be out hopefully soon. It's with the Division I head coach. Very excited with him coming on. I'm not going to spoil anything, but looking forward to having an in-depth conversation with him about the current state of college athletics and college basketball.
Mike Elko.
College basketball coach.
Oh, okay. All right. Roy Williams.
Close. I do know who it is, so I'm looking forward to hearing that. But yeah. So Brian, myself over the summer, since we've last talked, I've actually moved into a full-time role with the Durham Devils Club. So working with the NIL collective at Duke. It's expanding and it has expanded. So we're not just working with football. We're now working with 26 sports total. So everything at Duke other than men's basketball and women's basketball. And so I'm director of ops for that. That's been really cool. Work with a lot of coaches and players and a lot of personnel in the athletic department, making sure that they're doing things the right way and we're doing things the right way, which obviously that's the only way to do it in today's climate. So anyway, that's been a lot of fun. Of course, I went to Disney. As Brian said, I went to see the Rat down there in Disney.
The big rat, not just the rat.
The big rat. So, I now that I'm no longer in local church full-time ministry, I can travel a little bit more, and we took advantage of that this summer. We went up to Michigan for a couple of weeks. I went to Mackinac Island for 2 days. Man, let me tell you guys something. If you ever get a chance to do that, it's really cool. No vehicles on the island. It's all horses and bikes. And it's really, really cool. Makes you kind of feel like you're in a different country. But yeah, that's been my summer. Really looking forward to the start of the season. Brian's been to 2 practices. I've been to 2 practices, 2 different. So we've been to 4 practices spread out. And it's very interesting what you do see. And then honestly, there's some things that you really can't tell when you're watching. So far the scrimmages, the one that happened this past Sunday, was not open to the media. The one that's coming up later this weekend is also not open to the media. So we won't really have any answers about those scrimmages. And that's probably, Manny's doing that by design. We'll respect that. But there's just, anyway, we got a lot of things planned for you moving forward this year. And we are excited about you guys, joining us and listening to the pod. Brian, what about your summer, man?
Well, we were last on in April, and probably the biggest victory for this podcast, for me personally, was that Harrison rang his bell and is completely done with treatment as of May 3rd. This has been something that has been ongoing since we really started this podcast. So it's still weird, surreal. But I say this as positive as I can say. We are finally getting back to normalcy as a family. I'm getting back to normalcy as a person. So I feel like I have more freedom to be able to do more things to shine more of a light on Duke football in the program. Not to say that I wasn't trying during these last 3.5 years. It's just with everything going on and scheduling and whatnot, that was a tall task when, I tried to do stuff, but that's hopefully behind us forever. We'll never have to deal with that again. But again, thank you to everyone that had reached out, had checked in on us during that time, was constantly asking. So you'll see Harrison at some games this year. I can promise you that. He's really getting into Duke football. Both him and Hudson are true blue fans. They detest that college 8 miles down the road, and my wife hates every minute of it. So we like to laugh about that. But yeah, typical summer plans. Went to the beach. Have really just been getting ready for this season, getting tail of the tape ready for Elon, just getting ready. Like I said, we're going to be in Nashville, Murfreesboro for the Middle Tennessee State game. So if you're going, we'd love to see you. So we've got some things on the docket coming up. I think Scott's sleeping or praying one. I don't know. I think he might have froze. We might.
That is epic.
Yeah, we lost him. Yep.
I'm gonna bring it back.
Did he take over my internet?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Brian, did you get fiber?
Again, breaking news. We've got a lot to break for this episode. Yes, I upgraded to Google Fiber, and knock on wood, I have not had the first problem since signing up with them. But of course, as I say that, probably going to run into some mess with tonight's episode. So we'll try to get Scott back on board. But yeah, that's where we're at. And again, this is probably one of our favorite episodes of the year, just to where we give our thoughts on who we think is going to lead the team in various categories. And don't forget, fans, you will be included in this as well. After we are done, we will upload a Google spreadsheet for you to fill out. It's going to be the same exact categories that we go over tonight, the same exact side bets. Whoever gets the most points at the end of the season will win not only a Section 17 t-shirt, but a custom-made Section 17 mini helmet that yours truly will be making. Last year, we did a matte black finish. This year, we're going with the matte white finish, and it's gotten a lot of rave reviews. And before we get started on the predictions, I got to say one more thing. I mentioned this on Twitter, but I got to say a shout-out, thank you once more to Kat Kastner. She was our contact at Duke for the last 4.5, 5 years. If it wasn't for Kat, we wouldn't have been able to get the access that we had to bring to you guys. And Kat has moved on to a bigger and better role. We wish her nothing but the best. But Kat, I know you're going to hate me if you watch this, that I mention it. I know you're a behind the scenes person, but truly from all of us, thank you for everything you did to help us get to where we are today. So with that being said, we're still trying to get Scott back, Josh.
Yeah. So while we're waiting on Scott, let us do this rundown real quick.
Yep.
If you haven't followed us yet on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok, that's at Duke FB Talk. YouTube, once again, it's youtube.com/at Duke FB Talk. Facebook, we have a group. Just look Duke Football Talk. And we try to keep the content fresh. We try to bring you everything that we know about the program. We try to pass it on to you. Our website, DukeFootballTalk.com. Any traffic that you're willing to push to us there is great. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcast, if you would, I think we have 63, 64, 65, something like that, 5-star reviews now on Apple, and we want to hit that 75 mark next. And so, if you're listening on Apple, would you pause go to the podcast, rate us 5 stars, and then do a written review. The written reviews are the major thing there. And then on YouTube, comment. We try to do our best on YouTube to interact on the comments there. Jamie does a great job of keeping up with that. And so we really appreciate you guys doing that. And then sharing, obviously, the content with another Duke fan. If everybody that listens to the podcast would maybe text the link to a friend, we would double our listens if that happens. So, and then don't forget with Jordan as well, Big J, Little J show, same thing. Apple, Spotify, YouTube, wherever, like, subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff. I think I stalled long enough.
You did a very good job because Scott is back. He looks
back.
Scott,
did I miss anything? Did
Dude,
something
you went
happen?
to sleep on us, literally.
Yeah,
No, the computer shut down.
No, but your eyes were closed. And
Your eyes were closed. It looked like you were
the
asleep.
frozen screen was like you out cold. So we might took you to the Scott Medlin Medical Center.
And they're making house calls.
And Josh, I was watching Scott come back on, but you did mention that we're adding a bonus episode next week because of all the questions we got. We were going to try to do a mailbag / predictions episode, but because of all the questions you fans sent us,
so many questions.
Yeah, Jamie was overwhelmed. He was trying to work and take questions. He might have to take a month off to recover.
I was working actually.
So
if you're listening, I was working.
Speaking of that, we do have 2 levels of podcast sponsorships. The 2 that we mentioned so far, Matt Blivin and Home Field Apparel, along with Hometown Air that we're going to be introducing to you. Those are our premium, we're calling it Hellraiser sponsorship. Our second tier of sponsors is the Iron D sponsorship. And so that we'll be talking about that each week. It's probably around when we do the mailbag. And our Iron D sponsor so far is El Rodeo Mexican Restaurant. I know if you know me and you're from Durham, you're probably shocked that I somehow landed El Rodeo on North Duke Street as a sponsor, but we did. We want to thank all of our friends there, Andres and Mario and his team. But I will tell you this: they are about 10 minutes away from campus. It is great food. They even have a room there. If you have a party, say 20, 25 people, you want to kind of be over by yourself. You have kids maybe, and you're like, hey, we want a private space. They've got a private space for large parties there, and they just do it right. And so this is the El Rodeo on North Duke Street. And so you can check them out there. And then we're going to work on some deals with them, maybe potentially even some tailgate stuff with them or something where they can bring, their food to us, when we're at games. And so just keep that in the loop. We appreciate our new sponsor, El Rodeo.
All right. I think we've buffered enough, Scott. Your internet's good. We should be good. Fingers crossed. All right, fellas, it's time. Before we start, though, we got to give credit where credit's due to last year's champion. I almost bit my tongue, but I got to say this. Congrats to Josh. He was last year's season prediction champion. He dethroned Jamie after 2 straight years. So the 4 of us, I don't know. I always mess up with this. The 4 of us have got to find a way. I've heard some Price is Right strategy might be involved.
Now, let's be clear. Let's be honest. I mean, all 4 of you guys were present for this. It ain't like you guys paid for my steak dinner.
That's true.
Because our sponsor, last year's sponsor, showed up.
I'm not sure what you're talking about. I have no idea.
At the party and paid for everybody. So
So we were all winners, is what you're saying.
Yes.
I mean, I kept checking my Venmo, and I'm like, are these guys going to do the right thing? Like, will I get a Venmo? Will I get like a $15 Venmo from each of them or anything like that? And I'm still looking.
I was unfortunately unable to clear it with the CFO.
Jamie has put it.
Josh, I'm a sore loser, so I'm not going to admit that I lost.
I understand.
The check is in the mail.
There we go.
Yeah, you're never going to see that check.
Well, let's get it going, man. I'm ready. I'm ready to defend my crown.
So let me ask you this. Do we want to shake things up this year and do side bets first and then team leaders? Let's have a little fun. Let's do that. Okay, last year and the year before that, we started with the team leaders and all the categories, but we're going to shake it up. Let's do side bets. So, Jordan, I'm going to have you go first. And again, folks, all of this is going to be a part of the Google Sheet that you yourself will fill out. and it looked like someone got buzzed in. We're not
My bad.
playing a game
my
show.
dryer just finished.
I was like, that's not me.
Are you sure that was the dryer? I'm not sure. Not sure what that was.
Do you have a
Close
safety
and
word?
ready.
What? All right. So again, these same side bets, the same spreadsheet will basically be there for you to fill out. Please have them filled out before the first kickoff against Elon. We will set a hard deadline as we get closer. So Jordan, we will start with you. Here's the first side bet. Duke will have an upset win this year, and a bonus point if you can just name one. If you say yes, who's the team that Duke will upset?
I say yes, and the team they'll upset via point spread, because I assume they'll be underdogs here, is UNC. I have
Okay.
Duke beating UNC. If Duke is a favorite going into this game, I'll be very shocked, but I assume they're probably, off the top of my head right now, it'd be like a 6.5 point underdog going against UNC.
So the bell is coming back in Jordan's eyes for the first time since the handshake game in 2018. Jamie, how about you go next?
Okay. Well, since Jordan said UNC, I'm going to say yes. They will get the upset, and they're going to upset the Florida State Seminoles. Boom. Let's go. Let's go.
All right.
I'm taking a risk. I'm taking a big risk there.
You are.
Big risk.
Right,
Jordan
so
is laughing. Jordan is laughing. That's not good, I don't think. I didn't start well. This wasn't a good start.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
21 minutes in, and Jamie has already lost his mind. I love it. We're only one side bet in.
Listen, all I'm going to tell you guys, speaking of Jamie losing his mind, just wait till next week we do the mailbag episode. The first question Jamie's going to ask, he's going to be done. We're going to have to reel him back in. So
That's where the fun really begins.
That's where the fun begins. When you get Jamie chuckling, man, it's over.
Well, Josh, your mic was on, so why don't you
All
go
right.
next?
I do believe that Duke will get an upset win. I'm gonna do this because I want to give a shout out to our new coach, one Mr. Manuel Diaz. I'm gonna say that our upset win is gonna be at Miami. I think that game is gonna mean a whole lot to this coaching staff. Once again, Miami, for some reason, preseason, they got, Cam Ward. They're talking all this mess. Cristobal, who still has not shown that he can win at Miami, but they've got him ranked in the top 25. They're going to, no matter what the season looks like, they're going to be, favorites down there at home. And we're going to come in like we've done, in the recent past here, and we're going to beat them. And that's what's going to happen. So that's what I'm doing. Duke, yes. And we're going Miami.
I'm debating going to that game because I know I'll find a ticket for like $2.50. So I'll go next. Scott, I'll let you.
And you know you have a place to stay.
I'll go next. Scott, you can end this one. I'm going to say yes, but I'm going to go with the team that one of our coaches also knows as well. I'm going with the Pony Riders. I think we're going to upset SMU. I was talking with one David Shoemate, and all I will say is that there's some folks that don't believe the hype. Plus, Coach Brewer's coming from SMU. I could see it. I mean, if Duke catches the right fire at the right time, they could upset them because SMU, I think, is hovering in that 30 to top 25 range right now, just with everything they did last year. But I could see Duke upsetting SMU. Scott, close out this side bet. What you got?
Okay, now this, this is a tough one. The reason I say this is because I don't want to double up. I want to be unique. And, obviously, I would take Duke over Chapel Hill College any day. But I'm not going to do it this time, even though we are going to beat them. So that's just neither here nor there. I'm going to go, Jamie was crazy. I'm going to go a little crazy. How about a win over at Carter Finley?
Ooh, I knew that was
in front of the crowd that's going to be probably one of the best road crowds we see all season because they are amped up with the 75 grad transfers they have on that roster. So I say let's beat the Wolfies over in Raleigh.
And that's a late season game. So we don't know where either team is going to be heading into that game. And Josh, actually, you talked about it with JJ Jackson on his show. Injuries could be a key factor, not only for this Duke team, but every opponent that Duke plays this year. So teams that we're looking at right now going, they could be in the playoffs. They could be top 10, top 25. Anything is possible. Anything can happen. Scott, I love that. It could happen. It could happen. All right, Jamie, I'm going to let you start with the next one, and it's this. Duke will win at least half of their road games this year. So they would have to win at least 3 of their 6 road games. And those road games are against Northwestern, Wake, State. I'm already drawing a blank, guys.
Miami,
that's 4.
Middle Tennessee.
Middle Tennessee's 5.
Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech. There's your
That's
6.
it.
Yep, there's your 6.
So they'll win at least half?
3 or more. Yes or no?
I'm going to say yes. I think they beat Northwestern. I think they beat Middle Tennessee State. And I think we can beat Wake Forest and Winston-Salem.
Okay. Now, remember, guys, you still got to give your overall record and who we're going to win and lose against. So don't give away the farm on the side bets. Just remember that as you're talking.
My bad. I messed up again.
It's fine.
Oh, God. I'm really fucking up tonight.
All right.
You should be a Carolina Panther.
Yeah. Somebody make me run after practice. Jeez.
I'll go next since I'm unmuted. Yeah, I see this as well. I'm not going to name the teams that will beat because that'll be obviously later. But with the road schedule that this team that Duke has, there's definitely 3 wins right there. Who wants to go next?
All right, I'll go next. I'm going to go yes, and I've already given my cat out of the bag, Miami. I'll just repeat that. So I've already said it.
I'll say yes as well. And since Brian got on to Jamie, I've learned my lesson, so I will not say anything.
Of course. Sure.
Remember, first episode of the season, guys. We got to knock off the rust. Get the cobwebs dusted off. We're all right. We're good. All right. So a resounding. God, see, I can't even talk. Resounding yes across the board from all of us. Josh, I will let you do this one to start. This is going to be an interesting one. A Duke player will be named to an all-ACC squad at the end of the year to qualify first, second, or third team. So that's the first part of it. The second part, who do you think only one player, if you say yes, will be on one of those teams?
Yes, Jordan Moore.
Okay. Let's see here. Scott, go ahead.
Yes. Trey Freeman.
All right. Let's see here. Jordan.
Josh, you took mine. I will say yes, Chandler Rivers.
Ooh, I like that one. Jamie?
Man, I swear.
I got your boy, Jamie. I got your sleeper.
Oh, yeah.
He's on the D line.
Don't you do it,
Big
Josh.
West, maybe Big West.
Oh, yeah. I was. Oh boy, I wanted Trey Freeman. I was going to go Trey Freeman after.
There's another obvious one on defense too, but I won't say.
Hush your mouth.
I'm missing it. I'm not trying to think. You know what? I'll go yes, and I will go with Malik Murphy. I think he comes in and has a big year. If never mind. I'm gonna stop talking.
Well, no. First, second, or third team, Jamie. I gotta ask.
Third team.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go outside the box here, guys. I'm gonna say yes, and I hope this guy gets on there. I'm gonna say VJ Anthony Jr. the third. He's been showing up in practice. He's got nothing but rave reviews. I got to do something to get different points, but I'm going to go VJ Anthony.
I'm going to personally reach out to Wes Williams and Jalen Stinson and tell them that they did not get voted on.
Whatever helps us get wins.
Hey, listen.
And maybe even Samir Hagens for that matter.
Hey, for the record, though, of all people, Josh did not pick the Todd father.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Oh,
great point, Scott.
Yeah,
listen to the entire Polino family. I want
out of the
to offer my
family.
sincere apology.
So now, after every field goal he makes and every extra point, he's going to find you and just point at you.
Oh, y'all just wait. Every field goal Topolino makes, I have a new GIF. Ryan, you were there when we recorded.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
have a personal GIF from me and Todd that I will be posting every time he hits a field goal. Just wait.
All right. I'll start the next one. Do not give your records with this next question. We'll do that obviously later. Duke will finish in the top half of the ACC standings. That's 8th or better because there are only 17 official football teams in the ACC conference. There's a certain school in South Bend that doesn't want to be a part of the football conference. I'm going to say yes, and I will leave it at that. 8th or better. Who wants to go next?
I'll go. I will say no.
Okay. Got some hard-hitting questions this year, guys. Come on now.
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
I have to.
All right. Jamie and Scott are racking their brains.
Please, man. God, I've already lost a stake. Like, I've lost a stake in the first, like, 3 questions.
Jamie's just going to log off.
Screw it. Yeah, we'll finish 8th or better.
There you go. And Scott, finish this out.
No.
No? Okay.
No. There's going to be a log jam in the middle, but no.
All right. Bringing one back from last year. Jordan, I'll let you start us off. Duke will have a winning record against in-state opponents, that being UNC, Wake Forest, and NC State.
What about
Yes or
Elon?
no?
What about Elon?
Ooh. Adam in. That's a great point. Thank you.
I'm going to say yes in general, but
Yep.
yes.
No, that's a great catch. My apology, Elon fans.
The Fighting
Oh.
Phoenix.
Yeah, the Fighting Christians. Did you know?
I did.
All right. So yes from Jordan.
So wait. So there's 4 opponents. So 2 and 2 is
It's a tie. Does not count.
okay. So you got to go 3 and 1, which means you can only That means you're gonna. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Mm-hmm. What do you think? You're unmuted. You might as well.
I'm gonna go yes.
Okay.
I'm not sure if all my math's gonna add up right with my at the end with what my win-loss record.
I can see it now. They went 2 and 2. That's a win. No, Josh, it's a tie.
All right. Yeah.
Jamie and Scott. Y'all
Well, I've already given away mine. I mean, I've already told everybody who they were going to beat.
They've forgotten. They've forgotten.
Yeah. So yes, I believe they have a winning record against in-state opponents.
Yes. Okay. Scott, finish this out, bud.
As much as I want to say yes, I just don't know. And, if a steak dinner becomes on whether I make the right decision or not, I'm going to go no. I'm usually positive. I'm going to say no just to cover my tracks.
So Scott's the only one that said no amongst the 5 of us. Just a heads up on that. All right, last one. And again, this one was from last year as well, but we had a lot of fun with it. I enjoyed looking at everyone's answers. Give me your top 5 ACC finishing order from 1st to 5th. You only get a point if you predict the school in the right spot. So if you say Florida State's going to be in the top 5, that doesn't count. If Florida State finishes first and you say Florida State first, you get a point, and so on and so forth. Kind of threw y'all off maybe. I've got mine ready if you want me to go, so I give y'all a little bit more time. Plus, I might give away some of it. I'm going to say FSU is the real hype. I'm going to have them finishing first. I'm going to have State finishing second. I'm on that train. I think they've brought in the right key players to really make a push to make it into the ACC championship. I've got the transfer portal guru himself, Clemson, and third with Dabo. I've got Louisville going to finish 4th. I think they're still going to bring some hype in this season. And even though I said this was my upset team, I can still see them finishing with a good record overall and finishing top 5, the Pony Riders of Southern Methodist.
Okay.
I love how you went Southern Methodist.
Yes.
Instead of SMU.
I've got to be proper.
Who else did he do that with last year? Oh, it was UCF. It was the Central Florida Golden Knights.
Yes.
That's right. I'm
the
ready. I'm
the
ready.
Citronauts. All right, Josh, what you got?
Listen. Now, I will say when we did our we are able to vote with the ACC preseason. This was not the way we voted as a podcast, so this is not in any way official. This is just my personal. I'm going Florida State as Brian. I agree with Brian. Real deal. They're going to be number one. I think it's going to be interesting at best, for sure, to see what DJU looks like there. Clemson, number two, just because until they show me a second year in a row that they're not there, I'm keeping them at two. Number three, I am on the hype train of NC State. I will stay there at third overall. Here's where it gets a little dicey. I'm high on this team because I'm high on that quarterback, and that's Georgia Tech. I got Georgia Tech finishing fourth because I think it was Drake. Kenyon Drake, is that his name? Kenyon, what's his name? I forget. Smith? I forget. Whatever their quarterback is ridiculous. And then I'm going Louisville at number 5. So FSU, Clemson, NC State, Georgia Tech.
And there's a certain defensive coordinator that's down at Georgia Tech too.
There is, and a lineman coach there in Jess Simpson. But notice who's not in my top 5. The UNC Tar Heels and the Miami Hurricanes.
Could very well happen. Jordan, what you got?
The QB you're looking for is Haynes King for
that's his name, Haynes King. That dude is nasty.
Haynes underwear King.
Texas A&M transfer, by the way.
Yeah. So I number 1, Florida State. I'm in agreement with you guys. Toss up for number 2 and 3. Number 2, I'm going to actually, this is the underdog here for me, is Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech, they won 7 games last year by 3 or more scores. And they're 4th in returning production. And then they get Anise Peebles from Duke and an Alabama defensive line transfer. So I think they, with their schedule, they're second. Clemson's third. Louisville just sounds right. I don't know much about Louisville. Louisville feels right about being in the top 5. Number 4. And then number 5, I will go NC State. I'll go State. But, I'm always right, so you can just go ahead and pencil that in. It really won't backfire on me that, we have Virginia Tech go 3-5 in the ACC after I just gave them so much credit.
And by the way, State fans that are going to watch this episode are going to be yelling at all of us because even though they hype their team up so much, they hate it when we discuss, man, they're going to win. They're going to go 10 wins this year. They're going to do all this because as soon as we say that as fans, State wets the bed every year, and every State fan knows that, so they're probably going to be yelling at us for putting State in the top 5. Jamie said no, so go ahead, Jamie.
Once again, disclaimer, this is not how we voted at Media Day. We actually used our heads at Media Day. I'm not sure what I'm using right now. It could be something else. I'm not sure. Against my better judgment, I think they're going to be going crazy in Carter Finley Stadium, and NC State wins the regular season.
Nice.
I just think that I don't know. Against my better judgment, once again, they'll probably finish 12th. So I got them first. I'm going to go with Florida State second. So NC State, Florida State matchup in ACC championship game. Good Lord. Clemson third. Louisville fourth, and Virginia Tech fifth.
All right.
Scott?
Yeah. I want to go with I don't really know where to go here, honestly. I think it comes down to a lot of things. I think the second week of the season in the Keep Pouting Stadium in Charlotte, you get Rocky Top versus the Wolfies. You get to see who the better team is. If they lose to Tennessee, they could be in trouble. And that could mess up the whole rest of the season. Again, they got 7,000.
Tennessee has an $8 million quarterback.
So? Carolina Panthers have a little guy that's about 3 foot tall that's the Heisman Trophy winner. They ain't won nothing. Sorry, Jamie. This has nothing to do with that. So I'm going to Florida State. Again, I don't know what the heck DJU is going to look like, but this is supposed to be the best Florida State team in many, many moons. The I think it's the 4th or 5th week, even after you get to see that game up there, Clemson and State play. So basically, Atlantic side or whatever, that is your championship right there, as far as I'm concerned. You know what? I'm gonna buy the hype. I'm gonna go with the 8,000 transfers. I really think State's gonna be better. Clemson will be 3rd, Clemson. 4th, I think the Louisville thing is going to be good. Their quarterback they have coming in, I think is really, really good. Now, as far as the 5th team, and amazing Brian put the Pony Riders in there because I really didn't think anybody would give a vote to those 3 teams from the West Coast. Honestly, good grandma in heaven. I don't want to do it, but they have one of the easiest schedules you'll ever get as a college football team. The Vienna Boys Choir, the Children of the Dumb and Deaf, the Little Sisters of the Poor, and that's just before they play Duke in the first month after they go to Minnesota.
School of the Blind.
Yes, that's after Duke, actually. I hate to do it, man. The little Smurf boys over in Chapel Hill, I think they're going to be the 5th team because they have an easy schedule. They have 5 road games. They go to Minnesota. They go to Durham. They go to Virginia. They go to FSU. They go to BC. They leave the state of North Carolina only 3 times after the first game of the season. That's crazy.
But Scott, we've all seen this throughout the years. Charlottesville is kryptonite to the Tar Heels.
Yes, but they also are able to pull a light blue horseshoe out of their butthole when they play Duke. He will turn into Drake May and Sam Howell, Max Johnson will, that afternoon at the end of September. Why? Because that's what they do. Max over there doing some voodoo fortune stuff with some kind of doll or something over there, and it works perfectly for them every freaking time.
We're back, folks. All right, so those were the side bets. And no, before anyone asks, there were no uniform side bets this year. That's all I'm going to say. All right, let's get to the heart of it. Let's see who we think is going to lead the team in various categories. Now, a little bit of a QB competition, so that's something to consider. Running backs, looks like another committee with Peyton Jones and Jaquez Moore. Wide receiver is wide open. Yes, Jordan Moore, before I sound too crazy. Yes, he is the perennial favorite, but you never know what scheme that Coach Brewer is going to bring. From what he did at SMU, tight ends were a fixture when it came to the passing game. And then, of course, on the defensive side, who do we think is going to lead the team in interceptions, tackles, sacks? And then finally, our thoughts on the overall record and who we think Duke is going to defeat and also get defeated by. So let's get it rolling. We'll start with passing yards. This is probably one of the most interesting categories heading into the 2024 season. Who wants to start? Who do you think is going to lead the team in passing yards?
I'll start.
Okay, Jordan.
I will say Malik Murphy. And I was talking to Bud Elliott, asked him to give me a QB comparison to Malik Murphy, like a current college football QB, and he told me TJ Finley, who played now at Western Kentucky. He's 6'7", 240. Malik Murphy's 6'5", 240. And TJ Finley threw for 3,400 yards this past season at Texas State before transferring to Western Kentucky. So I say all that by saying I think Malik Murphy, if the O-line can do what they can do, just stay there and let us have some short passes. I think he's at 3,100 yards. I'm going deep. I am in my bag right now going.
And are we doing touchdowns too, Brian?
Yes, touchdowns as well. So I'll say this. If you're going that high, you might as well give us how many touchdowns you think Murphy's going to throw.
So TJ Finley threw for 3,400 yards and 24 touchdowns. I'm going to say 3,100 yards, and I'm going to go 20 touchdowns.
Okay.
All right, I'll go next.
All right.
So I'm going to use the SMU quarterback comp because John the Brewer comes from SMU, obviously. He's going to bring that style, that Rhett Lashley, vibe. And so Preston Stone, their quarterback last year, threw for 3,197 yards and 28 touchdowns. And so I'm going to say Malik Murphy, but I will tell you this: it would not. I'll be honest with you. If I was saying Grayson Loftus, my numbers wouldn't change much because I think the system is going to be what dictates these numbers. I'm going 2,750 yards, so a little bit under. And I'm going 21 touchdowns. Now, let me ask you this. The touchdowns are throwing and running, right? It's total touchdowns?
Just throwing
Just passing.
because
21.
there's rushing touchdowns coming up.
All right, 21 passing touchdowns, 2,750 yards, Malik Murphy.
I'll go next. Oh, or sorry, Jamie. You took the words right out of my mouth, Josh, because I was looking at this. Preston Stone, like you said, almost 3,200 yards, almost 30 touchdowns, only 6 picks last year. Woo, Duke fans, if those numbers show up in Wallace Wade this year, it's going to be a fun season. Now, with that being said, the biggest question coming into this season was offensive line. Yes, Duke has brought in a ton of transfers to fill in the holes. I just don't know how long it will take for this O-line to cohesively gel, to be able to protect Murphy, to have the time to throw the passes that we have seen in all those practice videos. And to take a turn from Josh, let's not get overhyped about practice videos. We're talking about practice.
We ain't talking about no game.
Nope.
We're talking about practice. Hey, can I give a caveat there too? Let me give you guys some help. Those perspective. Did you know that football practice is not just about making the quarterback look good? Did you know that potentially they say, hey, they're going to run this route. We want you to throw the ball there because we want to see what the defensive back does.
Reaction.
And if the defensive back turns his head, he's going to intercept the ball. And so, like, sometimes when, like, it's funny, I see people literally commenting under those clips. And it's like, this isn't basketball where you just show the guy making 3-point shots. Like, this is a defense and offense back and forth type of thing. And so, like, it is all good. It is all good. I'm not saying that Malik Murphy's the most accurate quarterback ever. I'm just saying, like, pump the brakes, take a deep breath.
All good in the Durham hood.
From the two Josh talking to me. Josh is just preaching to me.
I mean, I see that at Duke FB fans _ coming clapping on there, and I'm like, dude, relax.
Yeah, take a pill. I'm gonna go the conservative route. I hear what you guys are saying, and I love it, and I hope it happens. I think there's going to be some games to where the O-line could falter, to where Malik's running more than able to go through his progressions and get the pass off that he wants. I've still got him going for 2,250 yards and 15 touchdowns. That is still if that were to happen, if those numbers were to be close to that, that is still a very, very respectable season in terms of Duke football overall, because Riley was at 1,150 last year. Yes, he was injured. What could have been, but again, 2,250 yards and 15 touchdowns is where I'm at. Who's next? Jamie?
I'll go next. I mean, once again, I already gave up what I was going to say when I said Malik Murphy is as a preseason, all ACC third team quarterback. So obviously I need to go kind of high here. I'm going to go 3,223.5 yards. No, I'm just kidding. Not 0.5. Just take 3,223 yards. And I think he will have 25 touchdowns. I'm gonna go way high. Doesn't matter. I've already lost the stake. Let's go high. Let's go high. And once again, don't worry about practice interceptions. It's fine. They throw things in practice that they wouldn't throw in a game. Cam Newton used to do it all the time. Throw 7 interceptions during practice.
Jamie thinks that Malik is the second coming of Cam Newton, folks. So there you have it. Scott, what are your thoughts?
All right, so I'll come back to this thought later when we get to the running. Obviously, if we think Malik's going to be the guy, and I think Malik will be when it's all said and done, my one thought process, I'm overthinking this, obviously. So, it's preseason, whatever. Is it a two split quarterback for the first 3 or 4 weeks? as we go through the non-conference before we get to the Chapel Hill College game? Do we go back and forth? Does it go over into the season? Does he give them still split reps to give them a chance in live game action? If that happens, even if Malik or Grayson wins, whichever way you want to go, the number is not going to be as high. So that being said, I'm going to go with Malik anyway, just because, and nothing against Grayson. Because if Grayson wins out, he's going to have a great season too, whoever wins. I'm going to try to split the difference here. I'm going to say 24-25 for the passing. Now, as far as TD passes, there's where I'm going to say 14.
$1, Bob.
Yes, I'm going to go $1. And the only reason I'm going to go $1 is because, again, we don't know. We're playing a crapshoot right now, so we really don't know.
So you're taking the mindset of competition more so than personnel in the field.
Yeah, I have some other thoughts that I may get into in a minute when we get further down the list, but yeah.
Okay. All right, let's move on. Running backs. I'll go ahead and start since I'm unmuted. So,
hey, by the way, it's a three-headed. It's gonna be a three-headed monster.
That's
Star
right.
Thomas.
I forgot
Star
about
Thomas is legit.
my apologies to
yeah,
Star.
I'm just saying he's in play there with Peyton Jones and Jacquez Moore.
Yep,
for sure.
And with that being said, I went back as well and looked at the SMU stats last year. When it came to rushing, there were 3 players over 400 yards. Jalen Knighton had the most between the 3 at 745. And then the most touchdowns between the rushers was 7 total for the season. And that was 3 players had that each, 7 touchdowns. So something to think about as you're about to give your predictions. Talked with Jacquez Moore at Duke's Media Day as far as getting all the hype videos and stuff. And I flat out asked him, I said, what are your thoughts on this year? What do you think your stats are going to be? He goes, 1,100 yards and 15 touchdowns. I'm not doing that. Just because of what Josh just said, there is a 3-headed monster. I've seen Peyton Jones at practice again, talking about practice. He looked really good. Star Thomas, I saw some of him as well. I keep forgetting him. He looked good as well. The 1,100 yards would come if something happens to one of the other 2, in my personal opinion. With that being said, I still have Jacquez leading the 3-headed monster with 738 rushing yards. However, on the rushing touchdown side, I have Peyton Jones leading that category with 9 rushing touchdowns. I could see Peyton being more of a goal line back because he's stacked. If you have not seen him in person, he is built. I could see him being used in short yardage situation as well. So Jacquez leading the rushing yards at 738. Peyton Jones leading the rushing touchdowns at 9. Who's next?
I'll go. Real quick, when y'all were talking about the QBs real quick, I looked up Renfrey's first real season under Cutcliffe because a pretty bad a question mark offensive line. He threw for 3,131 yards. I thought that was kind of crazy. And only 14 touchdowns. But needless to say, that's where I kind of see Malik with the offensive line. Running back, Jacquez Moore, I agree. Brian, you almost got my rushing total right on the head, so I got very nervous. So I'm going to say I'll boost it up some more. 775 yards rushing for Jacquez. And I agree. I think Duke will run it less. I think though he's really talented, and it's a 3-horse race back there. I think Brewer's really going to throw it around. It's going to be more like short intermediate passes that you see. Duke fans might be triggered by swing passes and screen passes, but that's just kind of how this offense, that type of offense is. It's easy, high-level completions. But touchdowns, I'm going to go Jacquez also, and I'm going to have Jacquez at 7.
I'll go next. I agree with Brian and Jordan in saying Jacquez will lead the team in rushing yards. Last year, Jordan Waters led the team in 819, I believe. I do not think, once again, with Josh talking about the 3-headed monster, I don't think he gets to that. So I'm gonna go 718 yards. Jacquez leads with 718 yards. As far as rushing touchdowns, some years we've had quarterbacks that, get a lot of rushing touchdowns, but I don't think Malik is necessarily that guy. Even though he's a big guy, he doesn't really strike me as a runner. He strikes me more of a pocket guy.
I don't mean to interrupt you. They have been doing a lot of read option plays in practice to see how that would work with both Grayson and Malik. Who knows? They might instill that in the game in a short yardage situation.
Yeah, but I think I'll go. And you got Starr in there too, who, by the way, is actually a decent receiving running back as well. Like, I was looking at his stats from last year. He's pretty decent receiving running back. I'm gonna go with Jacquez and touchdowns as well. I'll go with 8. I think. What did Brian? Did you say 8?
I said Peyton with 9. I wasn't
Okay,
Jacquez. It was Jordan with Jacquez at 7.
Okay. I'll go Jacquez with 8.
All right, I'll go next. I'm going okay. I'm not saying the offensive line is going to struggle, but we do know that's the biggest question mark on this team. So with that in mind, I do think that there's going to be a whole lot of those quick drop, quick slant, quick pass. That's just the way the offense, once again, as Jordan said, it's kind of the way the offense is running anyway. I think they're going to really try to protect that. I don't know on those short yardage plays. I'm just not sure they're going to be able to just turn around and hand it to a running back and just go right up the gut. I don't know. I hope we can, but I'm not confident that we can. So I'm going 685 yards, taking a little bit of the under there. I do think that you're going to see a steady rotation of those 3 guys with Jacquez leading the way, but maybe getting 50%, and the other 2 guys getting 25% apiece, something like that. Then I'm going with 8 TDs. But I think, once again, that's just rushing. So Jacquez could still have, a couple more out of the backfield receiving, but I'm going 8 TDs for him. I know he will be pissed if that's what his numbers are, but that's what I think he'll end up at.
All right, so here is where my dilemma is. Brian did not know the point you pointed out a second ago. My question about running with Malik at all, is he going to run? Is he going to, let's say he's running for his life, if it's going to be that kind of type thing. I mean, obviously at the goal line, you're not running for your life. It's more set up. But that kind of dictates a little bit more of who, what, when, where, and how. I do think Jacquez Moore is going to be the leading rusher. As far as yards, again, with a 3-headed monster, and if Malik is a runner, that's a 4-headed monster then, if he can get up and move them feet. Because that's a big boy, and that's a big boy to take down. I don't care who you are. So I'll go Jacquez. I'm going to say 625. I'll try to lowball it again. Try to get that $1 for Bob here. Or Drew, now since Drew's the one running it. And as far as running, you know what? I'm going to be different. I'm going to go with the Star. I'm going to say the Star with 7. Not the Star Boys, Brian. Don't get confused. Not those guys in Dallas that still don't know how to win.
We dim boys.
Star Thomas. So I'm going to go with Star Thomas. Be different. If I end up losing because of that, so be it. But if I win a stake, and that's the reason why, he's the man.
All right. Moving on to probably one of the most exciting positions on the team, and that's wide receiver. Who do we think is going to lead the team in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns? Now, Champ, since last year this is the category that got you the title, I'm going to let you start this year. Who you got, and what are your thoughts?
I mean, just to clear the air here, is because I was a Jordan Moore believer, and I picked Jordan Moore to win all the categories, and for daggone he did. So that's how I won. This year, once again, I looked at the SMU stats from last year. So, Brian, you probably know exactly where I'm going with this. So, here's where I'm heading. I'm heading Jordan Moore, leading us in receptions or receiving yards, whatever that is. We're not doing receptions numbers, right? Reception number? Oh, crap. All right. I'm gonna go
Receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna go Jordan Moore. I'm going to say he is going to get 81 receptions.
Okay.
He is going to break that 1,000-yard this year. He's going to go for 1,033 yards, 1033. But the number one touchdown getter on this team, and man, he came back for a 5th season.
Don't do this to me.
After telling y'all he won't coming back, after removing himself from GoDuke.com. Number 81, Mr. Nicky Dalmolin. You look at the tight end usage at SMU with the tight end and how much they threw to the tight end, the amount of touchdowns, tied with the team lead at 7 was their tight end last year. So I'm going to go Nicky Dalmolin. I honestly probably will lose. I think Jordan Moore really, if you made me put like $100 on it, I'd probably go Jordan Moore. But I'm going Nicky Dalmolin, and I'm going to go with 8 touchdowns for Nicky Dalmolin. So I got Jordan Moore with 81 catches, 1,033 yards, and then Nicky with 8 touchdowns.
Now, I wrote mine down earlier today. So when you started mentioning he's coming back for a 5th year, great minds think alike. So we're not that far off, Josh. I've got the same exact cast of characters exactly down the line, but with just different numbers. I've got Jordan Moore, 72 receptions, because I think they could spread the ball out more with the cast of characters that we have. I've got him just at near the 1,000-yard mark, but just not getting over the hurdle. I've got 935 yards for him. And then I'm in agreement with you. I think Nicky Dalmolin, I actually picked him last year to lead in receiving touchdowns, and then that just went to shambles. But this year, I could see him doing it 7 touchdowns for me. So Jordan,
I'm not
Nicky.
sure Kevin Johns knew that you could throw the ball to a tight end.
Yeah, that is true.
I was going to say, how about Nicky coming back? Like, you go from barely being used to being, featured. Yep. Like, so that's awesome for Nicky. And
Jordan's got something to say, bro. Jordan,
it's awesome for it's awesome for Duke
Don't
fans.
be quiet.
No, we're all in the same boat, but not to rain on the parade of the tight ends thing. But Kevin John's Memphis team, the second leading receiver and I think the leading touchdown guy was his tight end at Memphis with like 45 catches and like 8 touchdowns. And then he came to Duke. So I'm just saying it might not happen, but I joked with you in the group chat earlier, Josh, about like I was going to Price is Right you like one off, but you almost said my receiving stats to Jordan Moore to like verbatim. It was very scary. I was like, oh my gosh. I have him at 85 catches because I was talking to Connor on when we recorded, like I was like Jameson Crowder, like those type of touches. Crowder had 85 catches his senior year in 2014. He had 108 the year before. But I was like, if we get Jordan Moore those type of touches, 85, again, easy completions. And I said Malik Murphy, 3,100 yards, so somebody's going to have to catch these footballs. So statistically, 85 catches. I do have him 1,000. Where did you have him 1,000 or 1,000 and what?
I went 1,033.
Yeah, you were. And Crowder's 1,044, so I was going 1,050. So it put me at 1,050. And I have him, Jordan Moore, the leading touchdown guy as well. It shocked me that Crowder got to 8 twice, but never got to 10. I always felt like he was always in the end zone. But I will say Jordan Moore with 8 touchdowns.
He had Connor Vernon to go up against, didn't he? Maybe that's why.
Yeah, going to 2012, I think, then 2013.
Okay. Yep.
He was a freshman when Vernon was leaving.
Okay. I'm just wondering what could have been that factor. So,
well,
Jamie?
That was back in the Cutcliffe years when they did utilize the tight end.
Football.
Like Braxton Deaver, like that was back in those days.
We had some great tight ends. I'm in agreement with everyone here. Jordan Moore is going to have a big year, and to me, in an all ACC type year. So I guess that would make Josh right on the all ACC selection or whoever said that. But yeah, I'm going to go 78 catches. 78 receptions for Jordan Moore. I also think he'll get over 1,000 yards. I'm going to go slightly lower than Josh and go 1,024 yards. On the touchdowns, I'm going to go big. I think he's going to get 12 touchdowns. I think he has just an awesome year, like Jordan Moore breakout year, and I think he's in the NFL.
Who? Maybe we don't know this off the top of our heads. Who was the last Duke wide receiver to go double-digit receiving touchdowns?
Clarkson Hines. No, Eron Riley. Maybe.
What did Connor Vernon or Donovan Varner not go to double digits? Those two guys put up some numbers, man.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Yeah,
I'll look it up. Keep going.
Yeah,
I'll look it up.
Yep. Scott, finish this out for the receptions.
All right.
And
so
wide receivers.
obviously, Jomo is going to be the guy. Well, that's why he's preseason ACC. So I think you have to pick Jomo. As far as catches, there's where it gets interesting. Either way, no matter where I go here, I'm going to be dollar bidding y'all. I'm going to go with 80.
Ooh, Josh. He undercut you by one.
And I'm only 2 above Jamie. So, let's see. For yards, I'm overthinking it, but I'm gonna express my overthinking. Will we go downfield? Will it only be eight and curls? Will it be something like that every time? So that's where the yardage thing kind of gets me. I mean, if he ends up with 10 receptions a game for 70 yards, then that's a really great year. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna go 975. I'll go a little bit higher than you, Brian. Whew. Now the receiving touchdowns. This is where it gets interesting, because if he does use the tight end, if they, I think Jeremiah has a chance to have a big season, has a chance to catch the football. I think Nicky's going to have a great 5th season. I think it's going to be awesome that he came back. It'll be well worth it for him. That being said, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna go with Harvey for 8 touchdowns. I'm gonna just because he's gonna have a good year. He's gonna play a little bit of the slot, I think, and if they're going to have to stop somebody. They're going to try to stop Jomo. I mean, anybody can figure that out. So there's got to be somebody else. So Samir, a tight end, Nicky, Jeremiah, or Harvey's going to – one of those guys is going to be open. And I think Harvey's going to be the one that possibly be the guy that's the deep threat and gets the longer touchdown. So I'm going to go – what did I say, 7? If I didn't say 7, I'm going to go 7.
All right, to come back to the double-digit touchdowns, I have not found anybody since Clarkson Hines. I looked at everybody I can remember. There's been a few with 9, but there's Clarkson Hines. Do you know how many he had in 1989?
A lot.
How many touchdowns?
That was the
14.
I'm going to say 15.
17. Yeah, that's
what
I was going to say.
17 touchdown catches.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Ron
Riley had a year when he had 9. Connor Vernon had a year at 9. And yeah, I mean, that's
we're talking 35 plus years since.
Now, don't quote me on that. I could be missing somebody in that 90s.
You're not. I looked it up. Corey Thomas had 9. He had 9. He as a freshman.
Me and Brian, that was our favorite player.
Yeah, that was our favorite. Yep. Love Corey Thomas.
So what y'all are saying is my steak dinner is not looking great?
You would be making history with your steak dinner.
If you consider McDonald's a steak, then yes, the McRib. There you go.
There we go.
Hey, I think Jomo can do it. If anybody can do it, Jomo can.
And if he does, it's going to be a great season. So
yeah.
All right, moving on to the other side of the ball, we're going to decide who we think is going to lead the team in interceptions, tackles, and sacks. Jamie, I'm going to let you get rolling on this one first. Just give us all 3 down the line. Who's going to lead the team in your eyes? Interceptions, tackles, and sacks. Have to unmute. It's that button. There you go.
Mute button 1, Jamie 0. Okay, so interceptions. I'm a Chandler Rivers guy. Last year, who was in there? Last year we didn't have. I mean, we had interceptions, but it was only 2. Our leader was only 2 interceptions. So I'm gonna go Chandler Rivers with 4 interceptions. I mean, I hope he gets even more than that, but I'm gonna go 4. What do we say next? Tackles, or does it matter? Tackles, I'm going Trey Freeman. Trey Freeman last year had 106 tackles. I didn't realize he had that many. So I think, I mean, it could be a lot of the same, but I'll go slightly less, and I'll say he'll get 100 tackles. Sacks, I'm going to go Wes Williams, I think, and go 7 sacks.
Who's next? I guess I'll go next. Oh, Jordan, go ahead.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
I was trying to hit the button. Interceptions. I like where your head's at, Jamie. I think Chandler Rivers is. I have him as well, and I would say for Chandler Rivers, since he said 4, 5 seems like a lot. I'll go 3. The thing about, I think it's going to be all the way around that. Like Duke's going to be active defensively. Like it's going to be a lot of people that's going to be active. I really wanted to go Pickett because how can you not pick a DB with the last name Pickett? I feel like that's going to backfire on me so bad. But Rivers, love him. He's a ball hawk. Tackles, Trey Freeman. I'm going to go more than 100 because I think what's crazy about Trey Freeman's season last year was it was like Cam Dillon was in front of him on the roster at the start of the season, and then he took over those snaps and still had over 100 tackles. So I'm going to say Trey Freeman, 100. Give me 110 tackles. And then sacks again. I'm not trying to copy you, Jamie. I'm sorry, but Wes Williams. I think I've heard nothing but good things about him for 2 years, and we saw him really starting to connect the dots a little bit last year. I mean, he was really good at Florida State. Like he was really being a good, solid defensive end, wrecking havoc. Sorry, Jamie. I am going to go. I'll go 5 sacks.
I'll go next to someone muted. Jordan, we actually had the same exact number for Chandler, so we can split a point. That's fine. That might determine, though, who gets the steak dinner. Chandler Rivers at 3. I think I see those interceptions early in the season, non-conference schedule, because there are some stout ACC teams that Duke plays the further along the season goes. Tackles, I'm right there with you guys. Trey Freeman, I actually have him finishing at 115 tackles. And then on sacks, I said this earlier, I'm going to stick with it. This is going to be the reason why he gets on one of the all-ACC teams. I've got VJ Anthony Jr. III with 10 sacks. Yep. That's my out there prediction. VJ, prove them wrong, my friend. Let's go for 10 sacks.
Hey Scott, go ahead, man. You get to bring up the rear on all these, man. You get to just hear us and all our tomfoolery, and then you make a wise decision. I'm gonna go last this time.
Yeah, but you got to remember,
wise.
Yeah, Scott's actually going through and like looking at the history of Duke football right now while he's trying to determine his picks.
I mean, I can tell you actually what I'm doing if you really want to know.
No.
I'm writing down everything, but I'm also doing a slow draft as we're doing this. That's why I keep looking down.
That's called double dipping, my friend.
I'll spend an hour on that on a tangent. So obviously Chandler Rivers, I do believe, is going to be the guy with the most picks. You know, just to be different, I'm going to go 5. I mean, 5 would be a lot for a Duke football player since like Leon Wright and those guys way back when. Obviously Trey, I think, is going to lead us in tackles. I'm going to go 105. And here's the one that I think we're all going to laugh at me, but that's okay. I'm going to go with Brian's guy from the Lord's School.
Kendi!
Going to go with Charles with 3 sacks because I don't know if we're going to get a lot of sacks. So I'm just going to say Kendi with 3.
The Lord's
And
transfer.
see where we go from there.
All right. Who did you have for your interception, Scott?
Chandler.
Yeah,
Everyone's
Chandler.
got
So everybody went Chandler. Y'all know I love Chandler, man. I'm a Chandler guy, but once again, I'm trying to win a steak, and so I'm gonna go away from Chandler. I'm gonna go safety here with Jalen Stinson with 3 interceptions. Number one, because that dude's got like the funniest personality, and he's back. He's back, and I think he's gonna have a good season. I'm going Trey Freeman. I think 115 was the highest. So I'm gonna Prices Right it because I had 112 written down. But what's 4 more? 116 for Trey Freeman. Exactly. And then sacks. I'm surprised this guy has not been named for sacks because he came on. I don't know how many he had last year, but I'm going Ryan Smith. Ryan Smith's off the edge. I'm going 5.5 sacks for Ryan Smith. If you remember, Ryan Smith came in as a linebacker, and we moved him to D-line. He's quick, and he's got another year under his belt. And jeez,
You
Scott,
forgot to mute there, Scott Medlin.
Not muted.
Jesus. God almighty, that was hilarious.
Listen,
I thought my dryer alarm went off again or something.
there might be some fans that have fallen asleep by now, but don't you worry. Scott just woke them up.
He actually unmuted to do that.
I thought I'd muted. That's the crazy part. I actually hit unmute.
But I'm going to 5.5. Did I say that? 5.5 sacks for Ryan Smith. Man, that was great.
We still got one more category to go to. Oh, Scott, thank you for that. Boy, we are back, folks. I hope you've enjoyed this so far.
Jamie's 0 for against everything. I'm 0 for the computer tonight. I'm 0-2.
Yeah. Creedmoor Internet, 1. Scott, 0. All right, this is the one that we all enjoy talking about in depth. Overall record and who we think Duke is going to defeat and be defeated by. Who wants to start? I know I'm unmuted, but I want to give the opportunity for someone to start out. Who's brave? Come on, guys.
All right, I'll do it.
All right.
I done made a fool of myself, so why not finish it off in a winning style? Overall record, I'm gonna go 7-5. I do think the Duke is just gonna make it over enough to be bowl eligible, which, hey, to me is a win. There's so many unknowns, and we said the same thing, 3 years ago. We would bowl eligible, dude. There's a statue out there somewhere with your name on it if you can be bowl eligible at Duke University for every football season. So 7-5 would be a big thing because a lot of people aren't giving us that many wins, not giving us a chance. They think we're going to stink. They think we're going to be 12 or 13th in the conference down there with the other schools that just started. So 7-5 wins. Let's see. I wish I'd have wrote this down while I'm sitting here doing nothing when I was muted. So we'll go, obviously, Elon, Northwestern, UConn. I do think it's finally our time to win the bell back. I really believe this is the best shot Duke's had in years because I just don't think they're that good. I think Max Johnson sucks, but that's just me. So that's 4. Let's see. Then
Middle Tennessee.
Well, Middle Tennessee, yeah. Sorry.
So you're at 5 now, so you got 2 more.
I'm going to say Georgia Tech. And Wake. Okay. I think the rest of those road games, can we win them? We'll see. We'll see where we're at. But I do think we lose in Raleigh, unfortunately. I do think that Miami finds a way to beat us down there in front of the 5s and 5s worth of fans that are wearing their colors and the gold chains and stuff. I think that's fair. I think we win those 7 games and we lose the other 5.
What bowl game, Scott? What bowl game would you like to see a 7-5 team go to? Yeah, there we go.
Oh Lord, already?
I would love, honestly. I mean, obviously, the Duke's Mayo to me would be the perfect one. Since they don't have the armpit of Louisiana anymore, we don't have to worry about that one. Let's say Duke's, or let's say Gasparillo, somewhere in Florida
Tampa,
around
baby.
Christmas time. Why not?
That'd be fun. Okay.
All right, I'll go next. I was and shout out to Scott there. He got put on the spot. I was able to write mine down while Scott was going, so I can go a little bit quicker on this. I think Duke could finish anywhere between 6-6 or 5-7 and 9-4 or whatever, or 9-3 or whatever. Like, I mean, it's one of those seasons, guys. So I'm going to go 7-5 as well. Here are my wins. My wins are Elon. We're going to start 5-0. Elon, Northwestern, UConn, Middle Tennessee State, UNC. We're going to look ahead to the Florida State game, and we're going to trip up at Georgia Tech. We're going to lose to Florida State. We're going to lose to SMU. We're going to win at Miami. We're going to lose at State, lose at Virginia Tech, and we're going to win at Wake Forest to finish the season out. And so that's got us at 7-5. And I think I was actually thinking Gasparilla Bowl, as Scott was thinking. I think warm weather would be great. That would get us down in Florida.
And Tampa's stadium, by the way, home of
Yeah.
the Bucks. Graham
Yeah.
Barton, shout out.
Yeah. Yep. Shout out to Barton. So, yeah, that's where I'm going. Gasparilla, let's do it, man. Let's make it a warm Christmas.
All right, I'll go. Jordan, you're unmuted, man. You're the guest. Go ahead, please. I talked
No,
enough.
well, I was just say Scott has Duke going 6-0 on accident when he was naming it. It's so funny. He named them all, and then he said Georgia Tech. And I was like, all right, Duke's going 6-0, and then dropping 5 and winning the last one. But that's honestly very close to what me and what I have. I have Duke going 7-5. Elon at Northwestern scares me, but I have Duke winning. UConn, fine. Middle Tennessee State, that scares me. Last time Duke went on the road against a G5 was at UNC Charlotte, and all they did was run slants while Mateo Durant had 250 rushing yards, and Chris Reynolds threw for 300 yards on 15 slants. That scares me because Middle Tennessee State's head coach, old Vanderbilt head coach Derek Mason, year one, he's going to have the boys ready to play. Duke's going to win, but on the record, scares me. UNC win, then loss at Georgia Tech, lose it versus Florida State. We're going to beat SMU. So SMU's over-under win total is 8.5. I think that's a lot for a team that's coming to the ACC. So a lot of people are thinking 9-3. They're 0-3 last year against Power 4 teams. One of their losses was Boston College, 23-14 in the bowl game. I think Duke is very familiar with them, obviously. It's a win. And then last win is Wake Forest. So I have them going 7-5. Bowls, I'm not very familiar with bowls that are for 7-5, so I'm gonna have to ask for some assistance.
It could be like pinstripe.
I would
Potentially.
Some bowl.
put me pinstripe. Put me pinstripe bowl. That's what the bowl because that was iconic.
Fenway Bowl. Now that that's out of finals week, that would be a cool destination.
That's true. Since we've done pinstripe, I'll do Fenway. Fenway Bowl.
That would be pretty cool.
The Lobster Roll Bowl.
Yep.
Now we're talking. I'll go next since I'm unmuted. So I'm going to break the trend, fellas. When I started thinking about this, I was, like Josh was saying, I was right around that 6-6. But then as I started thinking about some things and everything that we've discussed tonight, my thoughts have changed because like when Mike Elko came in, a lot of people predicted Duke to be 3-9, 2-10, no chance given. And we all saw what happened the 2 years that the Midnight Rider was here. I see this team going 8-4. I see them starting out. Let me just double check. 6-0, like Scott said. We run the table in September. The bell finally comes back. It's interesting when a coach tells the ACC network, we don't want you to come and broadcast our spring practice because we don't know who our quarterback is and we don't know the defense that we're running. That's not good heading into spring ball to the team 8 miles down the road, but their fans will say otherwise. So we'll be 6-0. I've also got us beating SMU. That was my upset earlier, so that was kind of a given. And then Wake Forest, I think they're kind of in rebuild mode right now. So that's my 8 wins. The 4 losses would, of course, be to Miami, Florida State, Virginia Tech, and State. And if those were Duke's only 4 losses, I would be fine with that, because those are 4 teams that the media, the press, everyone thinks is going to have great seasons. So if Duke wins all 8 of those games and then loses to those 4, and they are who the press and media think they are, that's a win. 8-4, probably going to be in Charlotte. Probably going to be having some mayonnaise sandwiches January 3rd. It is after New Year's this year with all the changes with the playoffs. So it'd be fun to travel down to Charlotte and see the boys in Keep Pouting Stadium. I'm sorry, Bank of America Stadium. So had to say it, Jamie. Sorry. Finish this off. What are your thoughts?
Oh boy. So, I mean, I've kind of gone big on all my predictions. Like,
are you our 10-2 this year?
Not quite.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 9-3. I'm gonna just go ahead and go like super big. Like, let's just finish it off. I've already lost the stake, but if I win this, maybe that wins me the stake. Who knows? Who knows what happens? Jesus. Oh boy, Lord. Let's see. We lose to Elon. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. We beat Elon. Obviously, we beat Northwestern, UConn, Middle Tennessee State. I got us sweeping the non-con. I got us bringing the bell back, beating Carolina. I think it was like what Josh. I think Josh said this. I think we go on the road in Atlanta and lose actually, and we end up. I think that would make us 5-1. And then once again, I gave it away earlier in the episode. I said we were going to upset Florida State, so let's go ahead and do it. Let's upset Florida State. Let's rush the field. If we beat Florida State, I will rush the field this time. Probably not. That's a lie. I'm not going to do that.
About 17 to 18 less stairs than before. So
Nah. It's still going to be stairs 1, Jamie 0.
That's a lie. I'm still going to sit in the stands. I would not rush the field. But yeah, we beat Florida State. That's 6-1. Beat SMU. I got a 7-1 and firmly in the top 25. But then we go on the road to Miami. I think we lose down there. I think that's 7-2. I think we lose in Raleigh to my preseason ACC #1 NC State. What was that? Is that 7-3? Yeah. And then we beat Virginia Tech at home and go on the road and Winston-Salem and beat Wake Forest to finish off 9-3. Bowl game, wouldn't it be like, Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, would this be like Pop-Tarts?
Yeah, we would be down
type level.
Yeah, it would be
what's the one in San Diego?
No, the Holiday Bowl is more like the 7-5, 8-4.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't want to go to San Diego either. We're talking, Pop-Tarts, and then, sorry, I've got last year's schedule, so it kind of gives me an idea.
This guy.
Hey, man. Yeah, by the way, first bowl predictions coming out on Duke Report with Freddie Hodges soon. ReliaQuest. A lot of people forget the ReliaQuest Bowl. That's also down in Tampa. So
that's the one that Notre Dame could steal, right?
Yeah, so that's what happened last year.
Okay.
Yeah, because
that's what happened last year.
It was either going to be an ACC school if Notre Dame did not get into the final 5 or 6 or whatever. When that didn't happen, then they fell into that, and it just caused all that pandemonium with us.
So put me down for the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Yeah, or Gator Bowl. That was the other one.
Oh, that would be a good one too, yeah.
Yep,
I'll take Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, Jacksonville or Orlando in December. Can't go wrong with that.
By the way, shout out to the Pop-Tarts Bowl, man. The best, incredible, mascot, media, weird mess.
Pop-Tarts are disgusting, though. Pop-Tarts are absolutely disgusting.
Strawberry Pop-Tarts are edible.
Mine was the chocolate fudge growing up. That was good.
He said fudge.
I got diabetes growing up, Jamie. You know all about that. If there's ever a chance for us to get a sponsor, Jamie's like, I hate them. They're trash. I don't want them. But he loves Mexican. He loves home field.
Brought to you by Pop-Tarts.
There you go. Well, that's it, folks. That is our predictions heading into the 2024 season. Again, we will have a Google document uploaded here in the coming days for you to fill out. One per person. Please be fair. And again, whoever wins gets the most right at the end of the season will get a Section 17 t-shirt as well as a custom-made Section 17 mini helmet. Guys, final thoughts before we sign off. It's been another great episode. Any thoughts, something you might have forgotten while we were discussing all things Duke football?
Get your freaking season tickets, guys.
Yes.
If you live in North Carolina, you live within driving distance. I mean, I get it. It's a couple hours for Jordan to get here. Other people like that, but like, hey, if you can, there's not a better deal in the state of North Carolina for some good football. So, yep, we just lost Jamie, but hey,
Jamie was done. He's like, I'm out.
But yeah, get your season tickets. If you live in Durham, take advantage of that 277 club. You have to call the ticket office in order to do that, but you can get 4 tickets to every home game for $277. And so make sure you take care of that. And if you call in to get tickets, tell them that you listen to Section 17. It always helps us out a little bit when you do that. And then don't forget, can you imagine if we tried to do questions during this episode? It would have been ridiculous.
Lord. We'd be 3 hours in.
So yeah, you can go to our Twitter and you can reply to the tweet that we put out a couple of days ago. Or if you want to email us questions, you can email us dukefbtalk@gmail.com. Email us questions, just how DM us, whatever you want to do, and we'll take those questions next week in a mailbag episodes.
Raleigh Internet 1, James 0.
I actually just pulled a Jamie and accidentally hit the X. Like that wasn't my internet.
Don't yell. Calm down, man. Calm down. There you go.
Just got to turn me back. Just got to turn me back down.
I re-edited his mic in the moment.
Good night, man. You don't have to yell. We get it. You got logged off. Jordan, I forgot to ask. No weddings this year, right?
So I have a bachelor party in Chicago, week 2.
Oh, I'll be there, baby. I'll be there.
So it works out perfectly, but I probably will not be going to the game because it's 9:00 on a Friday night. So we're gonna be like going through the town of the city of Chicago. We'll watch it at a bar, but we'll be in town at least. So this time when I'm having a wedding or bachelor trip, I'm where Duke is. I'm not watching Ryan Leonard get hurt as I'm about 12 in me, just like what just happened. So at least I'll be in the same city.
Hey, what's the over-under on Jordan Mann in Wallace Wade Stadium?
Ooh,
that
should have been a side bet.
I would say over under 3.5. So half the home games, give or take, and I probably could make. And there'll be away games that I will make too this year.
Yeah, we got Wake. Wake's an easier one, but it's Thanksgiving weekend, and then State.
I can't. I don't think I can physically I don't think I can mentally or emotionally go watch Duke and Carolina after these last 2 seasons. Like I was there. I was in Wallace Wade 2 years ago when we should have won, and people forget we would have won that game. We're in Charlotte for the AC championship. And then obviously last year, and you guys were there, but I can't watch them in person.
Josh and I were on the field.
Yeah, we were on the field, man. We saw Josh Pickett intercept that pass, and then it got overturned. But hey, you're invited to Middle Tennessee State, man. Just FYI, we got an Airbnb. We got the whole crew going.
It's Wives Weekend.
Producer Tyler going. Wives are going. It's going to be not all. Jamie's wife and Scott's wife are not going, but me, Brian, and Tyler, our wives are going. So, man, feel free, man.
I thought Janet was coming, Scott. What in the world?
For those of you who don't know, Janet's having knee replacement surgery in September and December.
Oh.
Yeah, so she's going to miss the Nashville trip, and I'm going to miss the UConn game. But I'll be back, ready to yell for Chapel Hill College after the Middle Tennessee game when we go to Nashville, and I leave her here after 3 weeks of surgery. Anyway, great husband award. Thank you so much.
Well, yeah, going back to what Josh was saying, when you call the ticket office, ask them to put a little bit towards our plaque, our commemorative plaque when they take our seats away. That's going to be the big adjustment for us. We've been in 17 since we started doing this. And
hey, look, one of the things
now you got to walk down the stairs.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So if you want to, just to have a little fun, if you'd like to start a GoFundMe page for the sign that we're going to put out there on my memorial spot right outside of 17 at the tent, that would be awesome. It'd be a great thing we could start for the season, just to, have a little more fun with it and things of that nature.
This has gone off the rails. Maybe I shouldn't have asked for final thoughts. Jordan, in all honesty, though, any final thoughts? Again, we thank you for coming on. It's always fun to do predictions with you each and every year. And any shameless plugs you want to give before we sign off?
Just the Big J and Little J show. Expect the new episode tomorrow for the position breakdown, and then an in-depth look at the full schedule. It's an hour and a half long of game by game that Connor and I break down, and that'll be out Thursday. And besides that, guys, thank you as always. I love coming on here, and I'm looking forward to see you guys very soon.
And again, lastly, another episode. We weren't planning on recording next week, but because of all the questions you guys have sent in the last 48 to 72 hours, we're just going to come on and dedicate next week's episode to your questions and try to answer as many as possible. And again, there will be another video dropping on YouTube. I'm not going to say what it is about. You're just going to have to watch the tease and then watch the video when it drops next week as well. I think that's it.
Special shout out to our Hellraiser sponsors, Matthew Bliven, Realtor, and then Home Field Apparel, and Hometown Air is coming on, and we're getting some details worked out with them. They are going to be residential HVAC. And so we're looking forward to that as well. So thank you to those premium Hellraiser sponsors. Brian, take us out of here, man.
We're back, fellas. It's been a while, but it was another fun one. We're looking forward to doing this each and every week until Duke's season ends. We're hoping in December or January. And by the looks of our predictions, we all think that is going to happen. But for Josh Cox, Scott Medlin, Jamie Holt, and our special guest, Jordan Mann of the Big J and Little J podcast, I'm your host, Brian Kennedy, and this has been another episode of the Duke Football Talk Section 17 podcast.
Wow.